Yankee Delta 9 Charlie Sierra Whiskey.
Charlie Sierra Whiskey, Roger, and what's the name?
Charlie Sierra Whiskey, Roger, and what's the name?
Terry. I'm running on 20 watts. I'm in Bedford, Indiana, Roger.
Roger, Harry in Indiana. Whereabouts in Indiana are you?
Roger, Harry in Indiana. Whereabouts in Indiana are you?
In Bedford, Indiana, 75 miles south of the Andy.
Ah, Roger, Roger. Well, we're down around Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville, Kentucky, Roger.
Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville, Kentucky, Roger.
Well, we're about neighbors then, Roger.
Yes, sir. But I have a lot of different antenna options. I have 5 internet SDRs plus my local antennas. So if you would, why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and let me look around for a better path, Roger?
Your antenna system, and let me look around for a better path, Roger?
All righty. It's 29. I called a 5-0-29 foot Colosso, I think, but they call it made by Colosso, I think, but they call it 50.com. You look it up fast that way, but it's about 35 foot off the ground there. They recommend about 20 foot, but I got it up just a little higher than that. Roger.
Roger that, Harry. And gosh, what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger that, Harry. And gosh, what radio are you running today, sir?
That's the Icon 7600, and I'm getting about 20 watts out PV on right now.
Roger, Roger. Now, is that radio designed to run at 100 watts? That's a 7600. Is it designed to run at 100 watts?
That's a 7600. Is it designed to run at 100 watts?
Yes, it's a 7600 actually, and but I ain't got a good watt meter. All I can read is 20, but I need to get me a high frequency watt meter, Roger.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, gosh, I guess just trying to think of a way that you could set that up. But you do need a watt meter. Well, does it have an internal watt meter? Is there an internal watt meter on that radio?
Internal watt meter? Is there an internal watt meter on that radio?
I've got the power out there. That's doing about 95% I'm talking.
Yes, sir. So you have the RF level of that transmitter turned up all the way. In other words, it's trying to generate 100 watts through its capabilities. You're not turning it down at all. It's just running, trying to make 100 watts. Is that a Roger?
Trying to make 100 watts. Is that a Roger?
Hey, Roger. It probably needs to be peaked up. It's about the one of the first ones coming out from 70 here. It might need a little doctor.
Roger, Roger. Well, I think probably the best plan would be to get a good watt meter, so you can make sure what you see is what is really happening. And a good watt meter, is one that you can really count on. Roger, Roger.
It's one that you can really count on. Roger, Roger.
Hey, Roger, I run on 10 meters. I guess 100 out of it on 10 meters, but I don't know, on the high frequencies it's a little different, I think.
Roger, does the radio read higher on higher frequencies?
Does the radio read higher on higher frequencies?
Well, on the 10 meters it runs up, that meter I got smashed to it. I can go as far as I can't go, 40 meters, it's won't read at all.
Roger that, Roger that. Well, like I say, I think the best thing would be maybe to get a reliable watt meter so you know exactly what that radio is doing. If you have any doubts, it's not an unusual. It's a very unusual situation to just be running 20 watts when you're wide open on a 100 watt transmitter. So it could be that the internal watt meter reading on that radio is incorrect, or who knows? But if you have a good, reliable watt meter, it'll tell you exactly what's what it's putting out. And a 100 watt radio should put out 90 to 100 watts, 95, right in there. And there are some people I've run across, and this is one of my rants, I guess. There are some folks that want to run their radio at less than designed transmit level out. In other words, they want to run it at 10 watts, 20 watts, which you can do that, but to me, it doesn't make any sense. You always want, I would think, to put your best foot forward. And certainly, whatever the difference is, 100 watts is going to be better than 20 watts. Now, if it's something a personal thing that one wants to try to conquer the world on 20 watts, well, then they should pilot their ship however they choose, But I'm just saying, in a normal situation, if the radio is designed for 100 watts, just let it run at 100 watts, Roger.
Designed for 100 watts, just let it run at 100 watts, Roger.
Yeah, I agree, but I just guessing because I ain't got the meter, I get on CW, he's at about 30 watts, or AM too. So, that's 30 watts on that, but there's supposed to be 100 watts video sideband, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, like I say, you'll feel better if you were to get yourself a very trusty watt meter, and you might spend a little bit more for a good name watt meter, but the idea that the consistency and the correctness of the readings that you get, I think supersede the maybe a slightly additional expense. Because, like I say, you do want something that you can trust. And there are those meters now that read SWR and forward power readings simultaneously. And I understand that, but I'm used to that switch that says forward and reverse. And that reverse gives you your SWR. And you can also calibrate your bridge that way. In other words, if you were to hook up your sample backwards, in other words, SWR bridge has an input and an output. So if you get your reading, if you just want to double check the correctness of your radio, your instrument there, you take your measurements one way, and then reverse your input and output on your watt meter, and you should have the same reading, but backwards. And that way you have tested your bridge for a balance and correctness, Roger.
Tested your bridge for a balance and correctness, Roger.
Hey, Roger. Well, I've checked. I got a standing wave meter still, and they ain't nothing on it. It don't even register one. It's good on that part, Roger.
Roger. Now you have an old CV SWR bridge. Is that what you're saying?
Old CV SWR bridge. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's got built in the radio. The 7600s up there, built in standing wave.
Roger, Harry, it kind of faded out on the end of that. Gosh, I can't really tell you much there. I don't have that good a signal on you. That's the unfortunate thing. I've been up around New York and my local Kentucky antenna most of the time trying to pull you out, but you have been running max at about 3 decibels above the noise level, and then Mother Nature pulls you back in below the noise level. Roger?
Pulls you back in or below the noise level. Roger?
Hey, Roger. They're about the same. I got about a 7 noise level, Roger.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you know, some times are better than other times. Propagation is just amazing. When it happens, boy, everything is just crystal clear from, hundreds of miles away. And when it's not, boy, you can't hardly get across the street, Roger.
And when it's not, boy, you can't hardly get across the street, Roger.
Yeah, it's pretty close. It's hard to get out. Usually I've seen that. But, yeah, I had a 20 over on you earlier when you talked to the other gentleman, but it's dropping out now. The sunspots are probably acting up again, coming in, plasma.
Roger. Now, there is one thing, Harry. Your audio curve is kind of mid-rangey. It does have quite a bit of content up around that 1 kc, 1.5K area. And I'm wondering, do you do have inboard equalization capability? Is that a Roger?
Inboard equalization capability. Is that a Roger?
Gosh, Harry, we still making the trip that way?
Gosh, Harry, we taking the trip that way?
Yeah, you're still there. What are you talking about? The mic game? Turn it down or something like that?
No, I was just curious if you had a internal equalization page on that radio. Do you have equalization capabilities on that radio?
Do you have equalization capabilities on that radio?
I'm kind of new at this.
Okay, equalization is when you can control the sound of the audio, and you can crank in more top end or more bottom end. It's an equalizer that helps you determine the transmit clarity of your signal. And gosh, if you had that, you could advance your treble EQ a little, about 2 or 3 decibel push, and it would help your the top end of your audio and articulation. But that radio may not have an equalizer built in, Roger.
May not have an equalizer built in, Roger.
It's got one. I know what you're talking about, the high-low tones.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, do you have one that has 3 controls, bass, mid-range, and treble? Does yours have 3 controls in it?
And treble? Does yours have 3 controls in it?
It's got bass and treble, but it's got that part. You can go from 100 to 2400.
No, that's interesting. That sounds like transmit bandwidth 100 to 2400. Do you have other options in that frequency range? We're talking about 2 different things, though. We're talking about audio equalizer and a transmit bandwidth adjustment. And on the transmit bandwidth adjustment, we would like to see everybody running 100 to 2900, which allows them to have that transmitter be all that it can be, and then also at the last minute give you just a slice of daylight before you're into somebody else's conversation. On the other hand, then we talk about your mic equalizer control, and it has usually a bass, mid-range, and treble. Now, some of the newer equalizers do not use a mid-range control, and they have that fixed. And that's my thought also, that if you do have a 3-band EQ, you want that mid-range control to be off or flat. Off or flat on that mid-range EQ control, because what happens is if you mess with the mid-range control, then it becomes so much harder for the treble to catch up and the bass to catch up to the mid-range. And the whole idea behind an equalizer is to strike a balance between the top and the mid-range and the bottom of the mid-range. And if you, like I say, if you boost the mids, then it's so much harder for the treble and the bass to catch up. So if you do have a 3-band, we suggest that you take that mid EQ control to off or flat. Your mid-range control, off or flat if you have one.
Flat. Your mid-range control, off or flat if you have one.
Hey, Roger, I just got tone, bass and treble, and high and low. Got to adjust in between them. I adjusted it back some, but it sounded different.
It sounds like upper mids. Now, just out of curiosity, how far are you away from your microphone? If try coming in about 2 inches closer than where you have been. Try coming in about 2 inches closer.
Than where you have been. Try coming in about 2 inches closer.
Well, actually, I got a headset here. I got it off, and it's hanging on another radio. Get it off this stuff. Got some stuff here. I can't get it out of there. I just, like a tree in the air there, so I'll put it on my head here. Look.
Yeah, Tom, if you've got a copy there. The thing was, I'm catching some room noise. That room must be fairly alive. So normally I suggest taking that boom mic on the headset out in front of you as far as it will go, and at the last minute make a 90. But I'm catching a lot of, some room noise there. So what I'm suggesting now maybe for you is to pull that mic about just an inch and a half or 2 inches from your lips, and let me hear you at that proximity, Roger.
From your lips, and let me hear you at that proximity, Roger.
Okay. It's about 3 inches now. I got it on my head. I was just in the air there. I got some fans running on a power supply. You probably hear it, maybe.
Oh, actually, it was room noise. You're sounding a lot better now without that. I would try to run it like that if I could. It's still. Let me ask you this: what is your bass equalization reading on that equalizer? What is your bass equalization reading at the moment?
What is your bass equalization reading at the moment?
Hang on here, man. It's +5.
Your bass is +5 at the moment?
Is +5.
Your bass is +5 at the moment?
Yes, the bass is +5 and the treble is +5.
Okay, and is that the top end for your capability there is a +5? Is that the best that equalizer will do?
Is that the best that equalizer will do?
Yeah, it's wide open.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, gosh, I would run it closer like we had it there. It sounded fuller. What you might want to do is go back and check your ALC reading just to be sure that you're not exceeding that 2/3 or 7 reading. Since you changed the position to that microphone, so sometimes when we get most of the times when we get closer to a microphone, the output of that microphone comes up. So it's a good idea if we change our positioning to the microphone to double check to be sure that that mic is still in the proper sweet spot. So I would say go back to your ALC reading with mic gain in hand, and as you say the word audio, adjust you become a human test tone generator and adjust your mic level control until your ALC meter is reading 7 or 2/3, Roger.
ALC meter is reading 7 or 2/3, Roger.
Hey, Roger, that's all righty. Audio. There's 7.
Yes, sir. Now, gosh, tell me about the best thing you like about your radio, and let me listen to your audio.
Gosh, tell me about the best thing you like about your radio, and let me listen to your audio.
It's just, I don't know, it does a little bit of everything, but I ain't got into that yet. There's a lot of reading and all that stuff I'd like to do. I'm kind of a new ham general. I've done CW way back in the 70s. I kept my license alive till about a year and a half ago when I went ahead and studied, got my TIG, and got my general there, Roger.
Roger, Harry. Now, I have a question for you. Could your radio possibly have an equalizer on switch somewhere? Do you have to turn on your equalizer to have it work, or is it ready to work all the time without having to turn it on, Roger?
Is it ready to work all the time without having to turn it on, Roger?
Well, you got your mic gain, and then you got your RF power out. You got two knobs in that. And all that for CW. Purple knobs, and then you got one split on your tone, transmit tone, bass, treble. You get in that menu, you can do plus from the 5 or 5 plus each one, or I can hit D-low, I can do that, and there's one, that's default bass, default treble. Does that sound any better?
I think where you were was best. I was just trying to, you're kind of mid-rangey, and I was trying to see if we could add some more bass. But if you're it doesn't sound like you're fully boosted on the bass EQ. But if it's on and you're showing a +5 on your bass control, then that's what's happening, Roger.
Bass control, then. That's what's happening, Roger.
Hey, Roger, I got my compression set as narrow bandwidth too.
Roger. Now I would set the compressor. If you have an input control to your compressor, we suggest a 3, and that's a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. Just a third of the capabilities of that compressor processor. So 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Roger.
Processor. So 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Roger.
Hey, Roger, I got her set here about a third.
Try that one more time.
Try that one more time.
I haven't set it in a third level right now. I can just on a narrow side.
Roger. So you don't have an actual control to your input to your compressor processor. You have maybe 3 or 4 fixed selections. Is that a Roger?
Maybe 3 or 4 fixed selections. Is that a Roger?
Yeah, I got a menu. I got the compression on, off. You get it not wide, narrow, and then you've got your main dial and your turning.
Roger, Harry. Well, I think it's sounding good as as we can. It looks like it's about a 3 dB dynamic range. It's up there. I just wish we could have cranked in a little more bottom end. Might have made it just a little nicer. But it's like I say, it's fully articulated. You can understand exactly what's being said, Roger.
Fully articulated. You can understand exactly what's being said, Roger.
Roger there, Harry. So let me say 73 to you, sir. I think I'm losing you now. So you have a real good afternoon. If you want to hear your audio, what we've got of it, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3,500, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So with that being said, we'll say 73 again, and you have a great afternoon. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to hear you there, Harry. 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.